Hello, welcome to the locker room. You must be sick of seeing our faces, especially mine. You're listening to the locker room on Indie Live Radio, and if you're watching us, hello, on Independent Live. We're here until 7 o'clock tonight to preview the weekend's football action. And good news, guys, the football's back this weekend. Yes, because I was sick of painting my house last weekend. I must have painted the same room about 5 times, and that was only on the Saturday. But I'm happy to be back on the show, talking about football and a lot of other sports as well. We're here until 7 o'clock. Joined tonight by my partners in crime, Graham Duffy and Dave Smith. How's it going, guys?
All good.
Well, thanks, Michael.
Yep. Cool. Well, it's been a busy week of European action, and all started on Wednesday night. Don't forget, you know what to do by now. You can comment on the video below on YouTube or Facebook. Facebook if you're watching it, or YouTube if you're watching it as well. And of course, you can comment on anything that we're talking about, because we do talk about things now and again at the locker room indie. And we're here until 7 o'clock. Right, okay, so we finished off last night, Graham. We should stop spending so much time together, but I know you love it, mate, you know. We're going to kick off with your beloved Hearts, because I can see that you're still smiling away. Impressive win for Hearts last night against RFS by 2-0. Dave wasn't on last night, so we'll come to Dave first and get his thoughts and comments on the game.
Well, we've not got a long time, Michael, so I'll be keeping it short and sweet. So, yeah, a good win for Hearts last night. They had to ride their luck at times. They had to show a little bit of resilience. They had to show a little bit of character, but got to go through, took the lead. And then through Shanko penalty, fantastic penalty by Shanko into the top right-hand corner. And RFS did threaten. They are a little bit of a different side to the side that went against Winfield when they struggled to get into Europa Conference League. But Hearts always had enough about them last night, and what a windfall, and most importantly, what a result for Hearts and for Scottish football.
Yeah, no, exactly. Glenn, we spoke about this on the show last night. Brilliant performance. Well, it took a bit of time for Hearts to get into the game. When they got into the game, they could have scored more than 2, but a brilliant 3 points to open up the Conference League campaign.
Yeah, I'm still buzzing after last night, to be honest. It was great to get that 3 points in the bag. And, you know, I think we could have won by more. I said last night, I think we maybe could have won by a few more, but I'm happy with the victory. And the only disappointment last night was Craig Halkett going off injured. That was a kind of sour note. But apparently the injury is not too bad. He won't play against Motherwell, which is no surprise, but hopefully he'll be fit for the next game. But as I said again last night, for me, probably one of Josh Ginnelly's best games. And as I also said last night, Lewis Nielsen, 19 years old, first European game, and he was outstanding last night. The way he brought the ball out for the back, he was really good in possession. He was calm, he was composed. And I thought for a guy to show that much maturity, I thought he was brilliant. But it was just great for Hearts to get the result. And Robin Nielsen spoke after the game about how great it was for the fans. And he's right, it was. It was a great night for the fans, who are probably still really, really drunk after last night and probably still in Riga. But it just looked great. You know, I was listening to the Sportsline podcast this morning, and all you could hear is the Hearts fans in the background just singing about Lauren Shanklin. So it was great. It was a great night all round. And as I said last night, it's great for the coefficient as well. Hearts got the result. And now we go into that Fiorentina game in a couple of weeks, and what a chance we've got.
How brilliant, I asked Graham this question last night, Dave. How brilliant is it to see a non-Old Firm team in Europe?
Massive. I mean, we've all been very critical here on other podcasts, special ones that we know about how the non-Old Firm sides have fared in Europe, such as the United, Motherwell, Aberdeen, not this season, but Aberdeen in the past. Other Scottish sides as well, Hibs in particular. Hibs haven't done well on the European front in well over 3 decades. They used to be a formidable European side, not lap stages of the European competitions by any stretch of imagination, but they used to be a very competitive outfit when it came to big European competitors. So I think it was a good big result for Scottish football last night, and one that we'd been craving for a long time. I mean, we all shout from the rooftops and go absolutely brilliant, or majority of us do when Celtic or Rangers do well in Europe, or whenever they get a big result, such as Rangers beating Dortmund or Rangers beating Leipzig like they did last year, or Celtic getting a result against Barcelona a decade ago. But I think this has a totally different meaning to it. Hearts winning at RFS last night. A big confidence booster as well, I may add, because Istanbul beat Fiorentina, so the group's wide open now.
Yeah, no, exactly. And we'll touch upon the other games in Wednesday night, Celtic and Rangers, but I just wanted to finish off by talking about Hearts, and I can't really go without talking about Craig Gordon as well. Didn't have a lot to do in the game, Graham, but he pulled off 2 or 3 magnificent saves.
Yeah, the first half especially, he had a couple of brilliant saves, a one-handed save, which was a brilliant save. And, he didn't really have a lot to do. He wasn't tested as much as I thought he might be, which I'm really glad about. And the second half, he was very, very untroubled. He took a couple of crosses. But apart from that, he didn't have a lot to do. And in most games, he is a lot busier. So he'll be delighted with that. But the main thing for me last night was keeping a clean sheet. And as I said last night, after 2 minutes, RFS hit the crossbar and I thought, it's going to be a long night. But they didn't really create a lot after that. So I think Craig going to be delighted. 40 years old and he's had a relatively quiet night. But the main thing was just getting those 3 points in the bag. And we can now look forward to those double headers against Fiorentina. And that game at Tynecastle is going to be huge. We've got 3 points. Fiorentina's got 1 point. What a chance we've got to stretch our lead. You've got to assume that Istanbul will win this league quite comfortably. They'll have the double header against RFS, which they should win. So as I said last night, we've got a real chance of getting second place in this group. I know it'll be difficult, but we've got a great chance. Fiorentina have not been great so far this season. So what a chance we've got. And I think I put in the group chat earlier, £436,000 Hearts got for winning that game last night. That's huge. Absolutely massive for Hearts.
Just to remind you, Hearts won 2-0, goals by Lorling Shannon, and what a penalty kick. If you haven't seen it, go and see it. I watched it about 3 or 4 times last night when I was listening to Graham. I was paying attention to it, but I was watching the penalty again. And Alan Forrest, what a confidence boost for that guy, Graham. It was only on the park 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes, I think it was, and they scored the penalty, and they scored the second goal.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was a bit gutted that Devlin didn't pass it to Stephen Humphreys to get his first goal for Hearts because he was free. But, I'm pleased for Forrest because I do like Alan Forrest, and it was a good finish as well. But it was just great to see Hearts getting 3 points, and, the relief more than anything to get that second goal, because I thought we needed the second goal a lot earlier than that. But it was relief. And I think Forrest has been a really good signing, but I think Hearts have signed really well this season. Recruitment has been really impressive. A lot of Hearts fans are thinking, we've not signed quality. I disagree. I think we have. And I think Forrest showed that last night. He's bust a gut to get up and support Cammy Devlin and Stephen Humphreys, and he's taken his goal well. So delighted for him, delighted for Hearts, and it's just a massive confidence boost going into that Motherwell game on Sunday night, which is going to be a completely different game.
We'll come back to speak about the Motherwell game in a wee bit. Let's move on to Rangers. It was a bit unusual for Celtic and Rangers to play on Wednesday night. However, it was exciting. The Rangers game get moved to Wednesday night for matters outside football, but we still don't know the kind of main reason for that. Dave, very disappointed for Rangers at home.
Yeah, well, I said everything I needed to say on Wednesday, so I'll leave it at that. But I think it's a big game for Rangers tomorrow when they host United, because it's important that they get back to winning ways as soon as possible, because a lot of justified criticism has came Rangers' way And I feel it's important that they go and get back to winning ways, and it's a great opportunity for them to go and do it, because Dundee United are a club in disarray at this precise moment in time, a club of a permanent manager, a club that's looking to appoint a manager not after tomorrow. It'll be during the international break when United are reportedly going to be appointing a new manager. So I think all the foundations for Rangers to have a solid afternoon and get the victory the desire is there tomorrow, and it'll be good for them to bounce back from the disappointment of Wednesday night.
Graham, I would be as I say, I said it to Josh on Wednesday night. It's disappointing not for a big team like Rangers not to score goals in the last 3 outings.
As I listened to Josh on Wednesday, and he was right. If Napoli are a very, very good side. They're a top team. You saw them absolutely dismantle Liverpool the week before. They're a very, very good side. But I thought Rangers at times were okay that first half. They were fine. They were competing really well. But we know the game changes when James Sands gets sent off. It's a massive turning point. And the fact that Rangers haven't scored at home, it will be a disappointment. But they are playing a very, very good side. And that game changes and that's sending off. I think if James Sands stays in the pitch, Rangers could get a result, but ultimately they've not. It's another disappointing result for them in Europe. That's 4 goals lost against, 3 against Napoli, 4 against Ajax. So it's a massive disappointment, but they can bounce back. They've got 2 huge games against Liverpool now. They're going to be massive. I can't wait for them. But, Morelos came back into the side and I thought he offered enough, but he didn't really have a lot of chances. So it is a bit of a disappointing one, but as Dave said, a massive game against United now, which I think they will win, because United, for me, been very up and down this season, let's be honest. And I think at Ibrox, they'll be fancying winning that game comfortably, Rangers.
Before we move on to speak about the weekend's games, because a correct word on the Celtic game on Wednesday night, 1-8 away from home. But I mean, it showed you how far this team has came under Andy Postecoglou, because the Celtic fans are very disappointed how they never won that game.
Yeah, rightly so. They were dominant. It was a really good performance from Celtic. They just couldn't quite find that finishing instinct, but they were dominating. I thought Haksabanovic was very impressive, and I just thought all over Celtic with a far better side. But it's just that killer instinct going forward. But Postecoglou's got a very, very good squad. We've said that before. The squad depth they've got is massive, and they'll be looking to try and put that result to bed the next time. But I think Postecoglou, as we've said numerous times, he's done a great job with Celtic so far. And you look at what he said against Real Madrid. They competed really well against Madrid, and he said that we're not here, for a tour. We want to win these games, and that is what you want to hear from your manager. So disappointed they haven't won the game, but I'll be delighted with that performance, because for long spells in that game, they were the far better side.
Yeah, obviously we'll talk in more detail about Celtic and Hearts, because they finish off the weekend on Sunday. Right, let's get on to the weekend's action, guys. First game up tomorrow is Hibs against Aberdeen, Dave, at Easter Road.
Yeah, it's going to be an intriguing game. I mean, it's a game in which I'll be excited for the neutrals and both sets of supporters. I'm led to believe Aberdeen are taking a very good fan base with them up to Edinburgh. Apologies if you hear the background noise. There's a few motorbikes out within my street tonight. But no, I think it's going to be an intriguing game tomorrow. One that both sets will be looking forward to. And Hibs is an opportunity to get a big win, because any manager will tell you that if you want to get a good season under your belt and you want to be consistent throughout that duration of the season, it's important you get your home, you win your home games, or get 7 out of your home games. And I mean, Aberdeen have, if I'm right, Aberdeen have a better record away from home this season than they do at home so far. At home they lost tomorrow, yet if I'm not mistaken, they've not, well, apart from Celtic, they've not been beat away from home this season. So I think tomorrow, from an Aberdeen point of view, is a test of Aberdeen's credentials to see where they're at just now. See if they are see if they have a better squad or better resources than Hibs at this precise moment in time, and better caliber of player as well. But also for Hibs, it's an opportunity to see where they're at as well, because we didn't get to see both sides of the flesh last week, It's been good to see Aberdeen. It would have been good to see Aberdeen against Rangers last week, just to see where Aberdeen were at in that regard. But yeah, for Hibs, they'll be able to make home advantage count, and if they can do that, they'll fancy themselves to go and win tomorrow. But it's going to be an intriguing encounter, and Hibs against Aberdeen clashes are renowned not to disappoint. So here's hoping for more of the same tomorrow.
Graham, a bit of positive news for the Hibs fans going into the game. Lee Johnson is back in business after he was rescued hospital in Deglan Day, and he says, and I quote him in the Daily Record today, that he says he was in the Hibs office in Deglan Day, and he was in agony trying to get deals over the line on the day. But it's just I'm quite happy for him to be back in the dugout, and so is Hibs fans and the rest of Scottish football, you would say. And hopefully we pass on our best wishes to Lee, and hopefully he's bouncing back. But it's a difficult game tomorrow at home against Aberdeen.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments about Johnson. It's great to see him back. You know, it was obviously a tough one for him having to go to hospital, but thankfully everything seems okay. But this is a hard game to call tomorrow. You know, Hibs last game, they won 1-0 against Kilmarnock, who were down to 10 men. Again, Hibs had a lot of chance, but couldn't score. Aberdeen got a Ross County, get a 1-1 draw. It's such a difficult game to call. I think on paper, Aberdeen have the better squad, but it's such a hard game to call. Easter Road can be intimidating, so it's going to be a difficult game. I would expect to see Hibs making a few changes. I think Harry McCurdy will probably come in for his first start. So it could be an interesting one tomorrow. But I think at the moment, if I was going to say who I think will win, I'm not being biased here, I just think Aberdeen might just have that slight edge. I think they've got just a bit more about them. I think Bojan Majowski has been one of the signings of the season. If Aberdeen can get him service, he could have a really, really good day tomorrow. But Hibs are a very frustrating team at the moment. They create a lot of chances but don't take them. So it's a difficult one tomorrow. But I think Aberdeen just might have more than enough to win that game.
I'm gonna let Graham have a wee rant here, right? Because obviously the Scotland squad was named during the week, and your pal Ryan Porteous is in the squad. Now we've only got 2 hours, Graham, so try your best.
So for any Hibs fans watching this, you might want to turn off, and you're going to disagree with me, which is fine. But I've said this numerous times before, and this has nothing to do with me being biased towards Hearts or Hibs or anything. But Ryan Porteous is one of the most overrated and overhyped players in Scotland, and I've said this for a long time. He tries to come across as this hard man. You know, I've watched him a couple of times, like over folk that are down on the ground laughing in their face. He comes across as some kind of wannabe hard man. He's not. Ryan Porteous makes numerous errors in a game, but people seem to hype him up. He is not as good as he thinks he is. So for me, I don't agree with being in the Scotland squad. I don't think he's good enough. I think he makes a lot of mistakes in games. Let's be honest. I know people do, but I think he makes a lot of mistakes in games. I think people talk about him plays with his heart on his sleeve. Yeah, at times he does, but I think at times he's very rash. You've only got this disciplinary record. It's not that great. I just don't think Ryan Porteous is that good. And I'm not just saying that to be biased. I've always believed that. So, I mean, I don't agree with being in the Scotland squad, but that's the way it is. But I think, as I said before, I'm not going to back down. I think he's overrated and overhyped.
Dave, is that the time? 5K7? Oh, yeah. Sorry for that 2-hour rant there from Mr. Duffy. It's not usually like that on a Friday, but again, maybe it's a full moon outside, I'm not sure. Move on to Livingston against Kilmarnock now. Team news for Kilmarnock fans, Ash Taylor and Scott Robertson is still out the team for Kilmarnock. As for Livingston, the squad is fine. And David Martindale sends his love to Reagan. That's what he was saying to me this morning. So there you go. What about this game, Dave? Kilmarnock would need to start picking up wins because it's been a very disappointing start to the season. There we go, Dave. David's on mute.
Yeah, but I think if we're going to be very honest about the situation arising, Kilmarnock, I've not been impressed with him, and I've seen him in the flesh. You've seen him in the flesh, Michael, and they haven't been impressive. They haven't been an impressive team to watch. The one night they've been impressive, well, 1 out of 2 nights they've been impressive, sorry, was that night in Tynecastle. I'm sorry to rub it in, Graham, but that was one of the 2 nights in which they were impressive. Kilmarnock are starting to improve, but I still think there's a lot for them to go work on. I think proof will be put in come the World Cup break to see where they're at, see if they can be competitive this year. I mean, Derek McInnes is a very astute appointment for Kilmarnock. I've said that and reiterated it from the start. But he's taken a lot of players and he's maintained a good cohesion of players that ultimately failed on the Tommy night. And for me, mentality might change a little bit, but in terms of the squad they have, you can tell that this was a squad needing fresh blood, and they haven't had enough of that. They've had to rely on players coming in from Aston Villa and Reading on loan to make sure they've got a good blend. And I think tomorrow's a good one for Command to see where that, the credentials, test their credentials, see where that. Livingston, they're a fortress at the Tony Macaroni Arena. And this is one of those games that you look at and say, if Livingston want to be in the top 6 this year, they've got to be winning games such as tomorrow. And I mean, Livingston have a lot of credentials. They had a disappointing period. It was a sticky patch ultimately. But I think tomorrow will be a game full of intrigue just to see where both teams are at this precise moment in time.
Graham, what's your thoughts ahead of this game tomorrow? I mean, you always guarantee a kind of proper football game when you go to Livingston, because I know I said this a few weeks ago, and I'll probably say it now till the end of the season, but Livingston reminds me of kind of Ross County and Hamilton, if you know what I mean, because they give you a good football game, whether it's home or away.
Yeah, you know what you get with Livingston. They're a very hard team to play against. They're really well set up. They're aggressive. They get after you. Don't give you time on the ball. And obviously, when you got a guy like Joe Newbley up front, who has been fantastic so far this season, he's a real focal point for them. So it's going to be a tough game. And obviously, when they played against Hearts a couple of weeks ago, they were very impressive. They should have won that game by more than one. But they're a very good side. I think David Martindale is a really good manager. And I agree with Dave. I don't think Kilmarnock have been great so far this season. I think Kyle Lafferty has been very poor. I think Ollie Shaw, as I mentioned before, I think is a championship level striker. And, Christian Deutsch, is he really going to score goals for them? I don't know. But it's a tough one tomorrow. I do think Livingston will probably win the game because I just think they look a bit better. And I have to say, I keep going back to this guy, but Joe Newbley up top, he's just such a handful to play against. He's big, he's strong, he's quick. He's got all the attributes to be a really, really good player. So I think he could cause Kilmarnock a number of problems tomorrow.
And I know that we were used to watching Derek McInnes with Aberdeen, Dave, and I know you've seen Aberdeen more times than everybody on the show, but I think he's got his work cut out at Kilmarnock. Obviously, he did well last season to win the league, but as you know, that there's a bit of a difference being in the Championship to being playing with the big boys.
100%, because Dundee found out to their own downfall as well last year. And Kilmarnock papered over the cracks, I think, last season. As I mentioned in my last point there, I don't think Kilmarnock changed too much between Tommy Knight and McInnes coming in. I think it was more because Kilmarnock brought in Kyle Lafferty again, who ultimately didn't exactly live up to expectation under Tommy Knight. But Lafferty came in to Kilmarnock second time around, and he was the difference behind Kilmarnock getting promotion or a fairy tale story with a growth. And that was the bottom line. Because, another difference was bringing in Ash Taylor. Also, Derek McInnes used the loan market very well last year, bringing in Dylan Tate and who was the other guy? Dylan Tate and Dean Campbell from Aberdeen. And they've had to go down a different route this year. And with that, it brings to transition. And transition's not a big thing in football. I mean, it's a big thing in lower league football. It's not a big thing in top tier football, especially with the way social media evolves nowadays. Because transition in football is you could have 1 win in 6, managers under pressure. And I can see this particular situation arising before the World Cup or indeed after Christmas.
Yeah, definitely. I think he is a good manager, Glenn. But as I said to Dave, he's got work out there. And the more times that come out don't start picking up points or even wins, they're confident the heads will go down.
I've said before, I worry for Kilmarnock this season. I just don't think they've got enough, especially up front, to keep them up. So I think they could be in trouble this season. If they can pick up a few results, then fair enough. But I just don't see where they're going to win games from because they don't have enough up front. You know, Kyle Lafferty, for me, I think is a really good player. But for me, he hasn't done enough so far. Ollie Shaw, as I keep saying, I don't think he's good enough for this level. And Christian Deutsch, you know, he scored a few goals for Hibs, but is he going to be the man to keep Kilmarnock up? I'm not convinced. So I think he has got his work cut out. Yes, he's a very good manager, but I just think with this Kilmarnock side, it's going to be very difficult to keep them up. They need to start picking up results quickly. You know, obviously they won that game at Tynecastle in the League Cup, but even then, Hearts had numerous chances but couldn't score. And obviously, Innes Cameron gets the goal that gets Kilmarnock the win. So in the Cup, they're doing well, but in the League, it's a different story. They just don't look like they're going to win enough games to stay up.
Let's move to Ibrox now, Dave. I'm just reading quotes from the former Rangers player Mark Haley. I want your guys' take on this, and maybe if you're watching, if you're a Rangers fan, you can comment on there because I feel this is very interesting. Mark Haley was saying that if Rangers don't win tomorrow, if Rangers get beat tomorrow against Dundee United, that is the league over. Your comments on that, guys?
I agree with Mark. I mean, no side in Scottish Premiership, especially Celtic and Rangers for that specific matter, can afford to lose 2 or 3 games in the trot or 2 or 3 domestic games in the trot. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, if Rangers get beat tomorrow, is that their 4th straight defeat in the bounce? 3rd?
Yep. 4th.
4th, aye.
Yeah.
Which would be calamitous for a club of Rangers' size. Calamitous. There's no better word to describe it. And this is where there's a whole different pressure on Gio tomorrow. Napoli carries a different pressure because they were the underdogs, arguably on Wednesday. I think tomorrow they're the heavy favourites. They're because the Dundee United side, as I said, are in disarray. They're because the Dundee United side that have improved under Foxy, but a Dundee United side that need answers off the park as soon as possible with regards to a new manager coming in. And if Rangers were to struggle to go win this tomorrow, as much as we in the media don't want to hype, I don't, on behalf of the media, want to go and hype things up here, it'd be a crisis.
We got a point we didn't even do, Dave, especially at
As
home.
I said, if they don't win, I don't think it's good enough. It's a crisis.
Yeah. Graham, Gio was saying today at pre-match press conference, there's no injury worries. Am I right in saying that there's no injury worries just because, and I might get a bit of stick here, just because Rangers players isn't putting enough fighting at the moment?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It certainly looks that way. You know, not only have they lost 3 on the bounce, but they've conceded 11 goals and scored none. Now, I know that they're playing Celtic, they played Ajax, and they played Napoli, but defensively, they just look all over the place. Obviously, on Wednesday night, Alan McGregor saves 2 penalties. Absolutely fantastic, but he still loses 3 goals in the end. So, you know, you could maybe accuse some Rangers players of lacking that bit of fight, but you never want to see that as a fan. That's the one thing you should always have is fight in that team. I think they will win tomorrow. I just think they're at home against the United side who've been up and down. I think they will win tomorrow. It might not be comfortable, but I think they will get the job done tomorrow. And they have to win. You know, when you're at Celtic and Rangers, you can't afford to drop any points. You've got to win every game. So even a point tomorrow would not be good enough. They have to win that game, and I do think they will. And I think as well, Dundee United are going to be interviewing Kevin Thompson for the job. I think he's one of 4 people getting interviewed for the job. So, whether he gets that job, I don't know. But United can go there tomorrow and, I think they'll put a decent effort in, but I just think Rangers will have far too much going forward.
Hi, got to say welcome to Reagan. Obviously, I didn't get the memo that the show starts at 5 o'clock, so I'm expecting you a email after the show to explain to me why you're late. I know that you had a date with Dan Evans in the Davis Cup, but that's not an excuse, mate. And stuff like that,
Some are busy, Michael. But no, it's
exactly.
good to
Welcome
join you.
back.
It's good to join you guys. I was watching Graham be very happy last night. But yeah, it was good to see.
Talking about the Rangers Dundee United game tomorrow, Reagan, do you think, and obviously Mark Catley, don't know if you had me before I came on, but Mark Catley, the former Rangers player, says if Rangers don't win tomorrow against Dundee United, the league is over. Do you buy these comments?
No, I think it's a bit of probably reverse psychology, Michael. I think it's interesting the way that he's talking, though, because I do agree that it's a very thin line for Rangers, because if you look at it, Michael, I mean, there's going to come a stage when, as much as Gio got Rangers to the Champions League, and he got them to the Europa League final, there's going to come a fine line where Rangers fans are going to get a bit fed up if they're not producing the correct performances and scores, because football's all about doing things right here and right now. And if Gio doesn't do well, I'm quite certain that if Dundee United get a result tomorrow to do what Mark Catley's saying, then I do suspect that on this show next Friday we could be talking about Gio possibly getting his jotters. But yeah, I don't see that coming, Michael.
Graham, in terms of Dundee United, then, do you think this is a good time to appoint a manager? Because after this game, there's a few Scotland games coming up. So do you think this is the right time to get the man in on Monday or whatever after the Rangers game?
Yeah, probably. But I mean, Liam Fox has done well so far. And if he can go to Ibrox and get a result, then there's no reason that he couldn't get that job. I don't know if he will get it, but there's every chance that he could if they get a result tomorrow. But yeah, it's a good time. Plenty of time to appoint somebody when you've got the international break. So it'll be interesting to see who gets that job. I think United job's a really good job to get, to be honest. And I think, Thomas Coates left him in a great position. Obviously, Jack Ross then ruined that. But it's a great job for anybody to take. And if Liam Fox does get it, it's a massive job for him. But then you look at the job that Stevie Hamill's done at Motherwell. He's done a really good job so far, so there's no reason that Liam Fox couldn't do the same at United.
Can I just elaborate by saying I think United will probably appoint a manager time frame wise midweek to next Friday period. I can't see it being as soon as Monday. I think it'll be midweek to Friday. Kevin Thompson, we exclusive for the locker room, is in for the job. It'll be between him, Liam Fox, and 2 other guys. Definitely not Duncan Ferguson, just for clarification.
So, I'm just going to ask you that, Dave, when you said that, because that's kind of thrown me a bit, because I did say to Graham 2 weeks ago when it was me and him, I said that I don't think it'll be him because his relationship with Dundee, he was the Dundee captain when Cy Ferry was there and Paul was the manager. Do you think that'll play a part, that he was the ex-Dundee captain? And
I think externally it will. I don't think it will internally. I don't think it will play a huge part between Kevin Thompson potentially and Tony Ashcar, but it will play a huge part externally with the fans, yes. But I think Tony Ashcar's remit and Tony Ashcar's priority is making sure Dundee United Football Club have the best possible manager they possibly can get. And is Kevin Thompson that? Well, we've already just discussed this, Regan. I don't think he is, right? But it's not to say, by any stretch of imagination, Kevin Thompson's a bad manager. It's because Kevin Thompson isn't ready for a job of that ilk yet.
Yeah, I want to ask you this because I think it's quite interesting that they went for a kind of up and coming manager again, because you look at someone like Jack Ross, who was kind of proven. Do you think they went back to this kind of
Well, apparently they're going down the Tom Court route again. Yeah, where they are going to take a young manager. Whether this young manager is allowed time or not, time will tell. Because Tony Arshkar is renowned and notoriously renowned for bringing in managers and not ruining them, because they've all went into good jobs, such as Robbie Nielsen and Tom Courts. I know Robbie Nielsen's a bit older, of course, but they've all went into Dundee United, and Tony Arshkar likes to play the big guy type of game. He's not a Joe Savage, just to give you an example. He's the type of guy that likes to be involved, and he doesn't give others accountability. And that could be a huge, huge factor in whoever is the new manager at Dundee United.
Well, I can tell you, I can give you an exclusive. The next two managers also in the frame are myself and Regan, so we may not be here next week. You never know.
Yeah, well, I'll give Dundee United money.
The only problem is, Graham, I've not updated my CV in a couple of years, so I might need to update my CV.
By the way, just to clarify, we're not talking about Championship Manager. You play on the computer now, you know. So no, Dave. I know you were mentioning the comment there about Kevin Thompson, and you think it's going up a level. But was that not the same as Tan Courts as well? Because to be honest with you, nobody kind of heard of him, and you know he done a brilliant job. I mean, he beat Rangers in day one of the season, and they got him into Europe as well. And I think they did not come to Celtic Park and take a point off Celtic as well.
They did.
Yeah, they were competitive. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wish I had Tony Arskar's crystal ball right now, Michael, just so I could tell you what's going on. Because I don't know what Tony Arskar's thinking. I mean, it's Tony Arskar's decision ultimately, and as I've said, he's wanted to go down a young manager route like he did with Tam Courts. You just get that feeling, and Regan kind of hinted at it. If Kevin Thompson doesn't do well, it's going to be another management experiment that will go, no. See you later.
What has done? Go on, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I know that obviously he wouldn't get it, and I know that he's older, but I would honestly love to see Dick Campbell in the Premier League.
I think he'll be under pressure at Bruce soon. Not that I'm saying for 1 minute that he is under pressure, but I think if Arbroath continue their disastrous start to the season, I can see there being a few changes at Arbroath soon.
Good shout, Graham.
The only thing for me, you talk about being under pressure there, I don't think it will be based on last season. I know it's a bit short-sighted, but for them to go basically this season undefeated, and then for Derek McInnes to come in and to the title, that's no disgrace. And he probably knows where he's at. Would I be right in saying that? Or what is the expectation of Arbroath now? Are they starting to get up there, or are they thinking, let's just settle to stay in?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just move. Let's just move on to the other games now. A big shout out to Wes. Wes is our first game watcher, so let's hope you come back, and we haven't scared you off. He's made a comment about the Scotland games coming up, but we'll talk about the Scotland games later on in the show. I just wanted your thoughts on the St John's and Ross County game, and also when you're talking about the Dundee United, who's going to be in their frame, we haven't mentioned about Callum Davison.
Peter T. Michael.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He won't leave St Johnstone.
Well, I just thought, well, well, maybe not by his record at the moment, but like if this was 2 seasons ago, and I know it's his buts and maybes and all that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
Michael, I get
know.
where you come from, because he's the first manager in a long while that's got 2 trophies in St Johnson's trophy cabinet, so that is still something to behold, and fair play to him for that.
And I know, Reagan, you're talking about, I need to get my CV out, but it's actually on his CV that he won the double, and he was, unlucky not to win the manager of the year. Obviously, the manager of the year doesn't guarantee you to get the job, but 2 cups, I mean, as you say, I mean, it's been a while since like any team has won 2 cups back to back in one season.
Yeah.
With the big 2.
And I think people forget as well, Michael, that Ange Postecoglou, as much as Celtic fans love him, Ange Postecoglou managed only to win 2 trophies last year. So if a guy like Ange can win 2 trophies, then I'm sure Callum Davidson deserves to get a lot of plaudits for that.
What about the game itself, Graham? We spoke about Livingston early on in the show, but Ross County, even though they're away from home tomorrow, you always guarantee that Ross County is going to put in a shift as well. And St Johnson's not the team that they were a couple of seasons ago.
No, they're not, but I think the signing of Nicky Clark is an inspired one. I think he'll score quite a few goals for them. That's one thing they haven't been doing recently, scoring goals, and they won 3-0 a few weeks ago. So I think he could do a good job there. Ross County plays some really good football. I like the way that Malcolm Mackay tries to get the ball down and gets the team playing. So it's an intriguing game tomorrow. But I just think at the moment, I think Ross County, I fancy them to get a win tomorrow. But I do think St Johnstone, with Nicky Clark in there, they could pull themselves away from that. I did say weeks ago, I thought they could be in relegation trouble. I still think they could be down that bottom end, but I don't think they're as in bigger trouble as Kilmarnock, because they've got Nicky Clark and a few other players in there. But I think Ross County might just sneak that one by maybe 2-1.
Reagan, what's your thoughts on this game?
Is St Johnstone at home?
Yeah.
I think St Johnstone will win then. I predicted St Johnstone to beat whoever it was that were playing the last game, because I thought they would win. St Mirren, yes. Because
was that the game Nicky Clark scored in this debut? Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
See, Michael,
see, I'm getting better.
See, both me and you managed to forget there, because it's been 2 weeks since football's been played. So
exactly, yeah.
It's been a long while, but
yeah.
I'm glad we've got things to talk about this week. But yeah, I mean, St Johnstone, they're a good team, and I expect them to win again tomorrow.
Dave, what's your thoughts on this game? Obviously, that I know last season you haven't saw St Johnstone, but the season before that, you were covering St Johnstone quite a few times, actually. I know it's a different team now. And so do you think that, I'm going to make the call now, guys, right? I think that Nicky Clark's will be the difference between St Johnstone going down this season. There you are.
I didn't think St Johnstone were in trouble. I didn't think St Johnstone were in trouble anyway. But yeah, Nicky Clark provides that difference. He's not a number 9, but he's one of those strikers that you don't realise how much of an involvement he has in your team until you're getting up at the forward areas of the park. You're getting the goals. You're getting as much chances as you possibly can. And that's what United got a lot of joy out of last season under Tam, was where they got into little areas. Tony Watt actually played a good game when he was involved in Nicky Clark. Maybe didn't score the goals he desired, but yeah, he did a lot in the forward areas of the park. And in terms of that, offers a lot to the Sturridge United side. So a lot to be excited about for St Johnstone, indeed, for Nicky Clark, yes.
Let's move on to the game on Sunday. Of course, there's 2 games on Sunday. will come to Graham's beloved Hearts. There you go. You spoke about Hearts about 3 times on the show this week, not tonight, this week. Reagan, we didn't see you the other night. What do you think of Celtic's performance against Shakhtar? Were you a bit disappointed that because I saw a couple of comments on Twitter that just shows you how far the team has came under Andrew Postecoglou, that they were disappointed not to win the game, never mind get a point.
Yeah, Michael. Well, Tuesday was a good one for Celtic because I thought from watching the little packages of clips of the game that I managed to see because I was at the Emirates.
By the way, it was Wednesday night.
Yep. So I thought Celtic. I thought the ladies have they played well. They had quite a few chances. They could have won the game through Giakoumakis and through Maeda. So I think it's a big step forward, Michael. I spoke about to Graham a few weeks ago about Ange Postecoglou making a stamp in European football, and I think he's trying to do that because I didn't see it last year against Polo Glen, and I didn't see it last year against Midtjylland. But yeah, he's making steady progress. But I think if Celtic were being honest with themselves, that is probably a 3 points that they should have probably took.
I think that's a brilliant point that you make, Reagan. Right? I'm not saying you don't make brilliant point, but over the past couple of seasons when Celtic was going away, especially under Neil Lennon and Brendan Rodgers, you were actually feeling because obviously if Celtic were winning the game, you could put the kettle on for Celtic getting beat 4-1. But now that they go away in Europe and they're comfortable with the ball, is that a fair comment for me to say?
Yeah, I mean, from the little clips I've seen, Michael, did so many chances. Like I said, through Giakoumakis, through Jota, there's so many good chances, and I think that just shows the progression that they're making. And I don't think, as much as Celtic fans want to hear this, I don't think I'm just solely focused on just Celtic being a dominant force in Scotland. He wants to make his stamp in Europe, and I think this season they're going to at least qualify for Champions League or make it into Europa League. And for me, that's a big step forward.
And you said, yeah.
Regan, what's the bigger game this weekend? St Mirren's Celtic or open goal Broomhill against Brora Rangers?
that open goal Broomhill game is actually a big game. Actually, well, it's Michael's local team. I don't think it's your local team, so you'll be.
God's Pollock. Pollock, he was telling us Pollock they played Huntley tonight.
Oh, so they are on the telly.
No, it's not now.
Unfortunately, it's not on the telly. I was saying to guys before the show that was meant to be on the telly, but for some reason it's not on now.
How?
The Queen.
I don't. Yeah, I think you know why, but I mean, I was looking forward to supporting not Pollock anyway, as a former Bohemian, but I'll just have to check it on social media as well. Andrew said today that the squad is looking good after Wednesday night. I know that you were saying about Reagan about they were disappointed not to win the game, but it will help their confidence and it will help their development going forward into the other European games and also domestically as well.
Yeah, I don't know if Graham and Dave seen this, but RB Leipzig just beat Dortmund by 2-0 in the German league last weekend. So that's going to be a big test for Celtic next week. So yeah, but as you said there, Michael, it's going to be a big test for them, but it's a big step forward that they're managing to go to these places and say, right, Celtic could actually win this game.
I just want to your comments on Reagan before we go to the other guys about the game on Sunday, Celtic, St Mirren Celtic. Greg Taylor was up doing a press today. How impressed have you been by Greg Taylor? Because I've been looking at him since he was at Kilmarnock, and I've always fancied him, and as a player, that is.
I'm glad you finished that sentence.
Yeah, just to clarify that, and also he's in the Scotland squad as well.
Yeah, well, the problem is, Michael, I've not always fancied Greg Taylor. I mean, but yeah, I have to tip my hat and say he's done very well, because over the past few years, I think he's shown that he's a very good player, and obviously Celtic have got a very good player in the hands. I mean, Celtic spent a lot of people not talk about this, Michael, but Celtic spent £3 million on an Argentinian left back. Now, during the summer, I thought, right, well, Andrew's going to put his faith in this Argentinian player, but then no, he stuck with Greg Taylor. So I think it just shows how far Greg Taylor's managing to do in this team.
Dave, I'll come to you next. Stephen Robertson said today that hopefully the Celtic fans will observe the minute's applause on Sunday before the game. Would you echo that?
Absolutely. I mean, the predicaments and the events of the last week isn't going to go down with everybody in Scottish football, unfortunately. And I'm hoping St Celtic has played at as low a vitriol game as possible, and as low a toxic game as possible. I mean, I was making a point to use in the group chat on Monday that I think last weekend's card was postponed altogether primarily because Aberdeen played Rangers, because it's a game that would have been a bloodbath because of the sad events that preceded us last Thursday evening. But I think this weekend, I think it's an opportunity for football fans to show their respect. And I think St Mirren and Celtic will go and do that. And if they don't, well, I think the tabloids and the SFL will be saying something about it.
Graham, will St Mirren be a bit worried of Celtic coming to Paisley, especially after the European game on Wednesday night, and also on the back of the Rangers win as well the other week as well?
I think anybody playing Celtic would be quite worried just now, because they are a formidable side in Scotland, especially. You know, I think that the strikers you've got, I've spoken about before, but Kyogo, Maeda, Giakoumakis, Abada, Jota, they are such a threat, and it's a figure out. Robinson's got to decide, how do I stop that? And it is difficult. So it's going to be a difficult game for St Mirren, but they'll know that. But St Mirren have got players that could hurt Celtic as well. You know, going forward, they've got decent options up front. So it could be a difficult one. But I think if Celtic get an early goal, I think they could go win the game by 3 or 4 again. But the longer that St Mirren can maybe frustrate Celtic, they might think they can get something out of the game. But I said this weeks ago, I just don't see who's going to take points off Celtic just now, because in the league, they're a juggernaut. And as I say, they should have beaten Shakhtar on Wednesday. They were a dominant team. They just couldn't score. So maybe that frustration will show against St Mirren, and they'll take their frustration out on them. I mean, I just can't see anything other than a Celtic win. But if St Mirren can just keep it tight early on and try and frustrate, then you never know. But I just think Celtic are going to be far too strong.
Am I right in saying, Reagan, or maybe anybody else can help me out in the comments here? Am I right that the last time Celtic went to St Mirren, or maybe I'm talking nonsense here, they got points against St Mirren? Was it not a Wednesday night?
They did. It was the time when no one could actually see the game. It was the time when Celtic had a lot of COVID cases, remember? And
yeah.
They played all the young players. And so did St Mirren. Remember, they played a lot of guys at 17, 18 years of age. And we were thinking, oh my God, St Mirren are going to get beat here, and it's going to be embarrassing. And remember they called up Bobby Lamal from Graham's team to play that game. Just that one game, Graham.
Yeah, the goalkeeper.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Graham, I've left you about 5 minutes. Is that okay to talk about Hearts again?
That's fine.
Hearts against Motherwell against Hearts on Sunday. Big game. But as you rightly said last night, Graham, it's all right going to places like this in Europe and winning and dominating the game, but you've got to back up.
Yeah, and Robbie knows that himself. With attention, as soon as that game finished last night, attention turns to Sunday. And I think he will make a few changes. Obviously, Craig Halkett's out. But as I said last night, if Lewis Nielsen can play as well as he did last night, then I've got no qualms about him coming in because he was brilliant last night. I think there'll probably be a start for Robert Snodgrass. And we finally, after 2 weeks, got the visa sorted for Orestes Kiots-Mosoglu. So he could make his debut on Sunday as well. So we've got options there. And I think we have to build on that from last night. As I said last night, if we win that game last night and they got Motherwell and get beat, then it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. We have to go to Motherwell and win, but it's a tough game. Stevie Hamill's done very well so far. Kevin Van Veen obviously could have had a hat-trick against whoever it was they played last week. And he just couldn't score. They've got Louis Moat there now. So it's going to be a hard game, but this is a game that Hearts have to go there and get 3 points. Because as I said, if Aberdeen win against Hibs tomorrow, then they stretch the lead over us. So it's a big game for us, I think.
I just wanted to say to Graham there, he was singing a song there, 1 step forward and 2 steps back. I mean, Graham, the thing for me is that thing for Hearts is they just need to show that level of performance to show the fans that it's not just a one-trick pony and they can do it more and more. Because if you look at the squad's good enough. The big thing for me, Graham, last night was seeing Devlin. I already spoke about him on the show last night. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was really, really good.
I love Devlin. Honestly, he's tiny, but he just gets stuck in against his bigger guys. And if you look at the second goal, it's Lewis Nielsen that makes it. But if you watch the second goal, it's Cammy Devlin bursting forward from midfield. That's the last minute of the game, and he's bursting forward, making the goal. His energy is just brilliant. He's an infectious character. And I think you can see the players love him as well. He does all the hard donkey work. He does the hard graft. And having a guy like that on your team is brilliant. And for me, and I said this on Twitter, Zurich, RFS, and Istanbul Başakşehir, he's been our best player in all these games. He's been brilliant in European games. So I'm delighted that he's there. And he's never anything less than an 8 out of 10 every week.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is a game, Reagan, that you would like to see on the TV. Not because I'm saying that because Graham's here, but did they not play in was it the Scottish Cup last season at Fir Park? Or, no,
No, it was Aberdeen that played.
Aberdeen. Yeah, I knew that was. I was just testing you, Reagan. But no, seriously, that would have been a good game to watch tomorrow because I think there's 2 footballing sides. And I was saying to Graham last night on the show, it would be a very big test for Hearts because they're coming back for that way they were playing wasn't basically around the corner. It was 5 or 6 hours away in the plane. So it would just be good to see that kind of like that kind of strength and depth in the squad going away for Hill.
Yeah,
for Park. See, I corrected myself there.
I mean, the big thing for me last night was to see the presence of Craig Gordon again, Mike. I know you spoke about it last night, but that save he made straight after they scored that goal by Shankland, which was a great penalty. Straight after that goal, Craig Gordon made a great save, and I said to people I was watching the game, I said that would just be typical, like go up and score, and then as soon as they do that, they just open themselves back up. But yeah, I mean, it's great to see. It's great to see another Scottish club flying the flag for Scotland and doing well.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying to Graham before you appeared tonight when you were putting on your makeup. It's brilliant to see another team outside the old firm to be in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, sorry about the makeup, Michael. It took me a bit long tonight, but no, I was. Yep, I mean it's just good to see. I mean, if you look at Celtic and Rangers, people expect those guys to do well in Europe, but I think it's about time, Graham, that we've seen Aberdeen, we've seen a Motherwell, we've seen somebody put in a challenge and done really well.
Yeah, definitely. And, we're going to be in Europe till at least November, which is great. And as I said last night, and I will maintain this, I think there's a chance that Hearts could get out of this group. I think we could finish second, but those 2 games against Fiorentina are going to be huge. If we can win the home game, I think it could be massive. I think there's a genuine chance we could get second in that group.
I did hear you say this last night, Graham, and I was thinking to myself, well, I can see the optimism there, right? I can see it. But the big worry for me last night was, see when Hearts went 1-0 up with about half an hour to go, they still kind of sat back again and they invited the pressure on. And that's the kind of worry for me when they play against Fiorentina. Because against Fiorentina are going to dominate the ball, Graham, and that's a big worry for me that Robin Nielsen's far, far too negative.
Yeah, I think we need to have a kind of Zurich home performance against Fiorentina where we really dominated the game. We just couldn't score. We need to do that again, but obviously take our chances this time. And I hope Robbie's learned his lessons for those games. But I think the thing last night was because we never got that second goal and we had numerous chances. I think we kind of dropped back into our shell thinking, right, we're not going to score a second, so let's just make sure we're compact. But all RFS did was just punt long balls into the box. And to be fair, I thought we dealt with that quite well. Craig Gordon came and took a few. Yep. Lewis Nielsen, who I said Lewis Nielsen was brilliant. Kingsley, Michael Smith, I think were excellent defensively. And then, obviously, we managed to get the break for the second goal. So I think there was a lot of optimism last night. And I just think that if we can win that game against Fiorentina at home, we'll give ourselves a big gap there. And if we can then go to Florence and even get a point, we've got a great chance to really get second place in that group. So I'm optimistic. It might come back to bite me, but I'm optimistic.
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to be interesting anyway because Fiorentina, they've not started well. They've got they got beat by Başakşehir. They got beat against RFS. They got the draw. So I think it's going to be interesting, Graham, and I think it's something that you can definitely target. I mean, are you going to try and get along to Florence and see the game?
I would love to. Seeing the pictures of some of the Hearts fans in Riga last night, I was extremely envious and jealous. I had to spend the night with Michael rather than spend the night in Riga, but there you go, second best of the night.
You can forget spending it with Riga. You can spend it with Regan the night, mate.
Well done. Yeah, good stuff. By the way, before we move on, a bit of news coming out of Motherwell tonight that their postponed fixture, I presume that they were meant to play Ross County last weekend. Yeah, so that game will go ahead now on Tuesday, the 4th of October. And that tells me that if Motherwell's Ross County games that night, then you'll have a full card of football that night as well. But I'm not very sure.
No, Michael, because I'll tell you why. Because that is the same day that Rangers play Liverpool at Anfield.
Yep.
Right, okay, yeah. So I mean again, Celtic and Rangers maybe won't get to play their games this side of Christmas then. Because if you think about it, there's not a free midweek coming up. Maybe in December, but I don't think so because the Champions League finishes on November.
I know you and Graham are kind of well informed guys, but I want to ask you as well. Do you think that the SFA could possibly be getting a ban then? Because is there not a rule in place, Graham, that you can't play your league's games because of Champions League?
I think there was, but I think that got abolished, and I think I think it did, and I think the thing was that you couldn't show the games on TV while it was a Champions League game and that going on. So I think you can play the games, but you just can't show them.
Yeah, because no, I think you're right, Glenn. Because I remember, was it a few seasons ago, Celtic were playing Camargo or something like that in a midweek game, and there was Champions League football on, and the game went ahead, but it
Is that
wasn't.
right?
Or it was meant. I was meant to be on. It was back in the day when it was Sky, so I'm talking about years ago now. And the game went ahead, but the game didn't get televised. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what anybody thinks of that, but I think that's a disappointing rule.
Yeah, I think it is because if you look at the facts as well, Michael, the fact says that we should be trying to promote the Scottish football. If we're not promoting it right, then that's bad news for everybody because we do a show on a Friday. You guys are doing one during the week, and you're also doing one on Sunday between 3 and 5. I mean, you guys are non-stop, so if you guys can do it, then surely the SFA and the SPFL should come up with better strategies because I mean, there's surely needs to be a bit of sense in this debate because Scottish football needs a platform, Michael.
Yeah. No, well said, Reagan, and thanks for promoting the show because I'm going to do it again. Okay, so you're watching Indie Live and Independent Live, sorry, and you're listening to us on Indie Live Radio on a Friday night. We're here until 7 o'clock. With me, Reagan, and Graham, and also Reagan was saying that we're back on Sunday as well between 3 and 5 to talk about Graham's beloved Hearts. They'll be actually playing the game when we're live on air. So hopefully no for any swearing or that during the show. And we'll review the Celtic game and also the weekend. And also, if you want more of the locker room, check us out on Wednesday night and next weekend. For the Scotland-Ukraine game, Scotland-Ireland game, and Ukraine and Scotland game. And we'll be on every night after the game at 10 o'clock.
What days are these games on? I've got tickets for these games, but I've not looked at my tickets yet. When are they?
The Scotland-Ukraine game is Wednesday, 21st September. The Scotland-Ireland game is the Saturday, the 24th. And Ukraine-Scotland is the Tuesday, 27th of September.
That's all right because I got the tickets way back in March, Graham. So it's been a while.
Gives a comment there. I forgot Wes made a comment early on. He's watching, so thanks for watching, Wes. He was saying about he's looking forward to the Ireland game next Saturday night. Also, what he was saying, what we were talking about the Champions League games. And he says, I think STV should bring back the Champions League games. I know ITV had shown them, but I still think that STV should bring them back to show the big two in European football. Graham, you can't really argue with his comment there.
No, definitely. I would love to see these games like free on TV. And I think, I don't know if it's a Scotland-Ukraine game or I don't know if it's all of them, but I know that I think Premier Sports are showing these games for free. I think I saw that yesterday, I think. But, we shouldn't have to be paid to watch these Scotland games. I don't really want to watch England against whoever it is they play on STV. Why would I want to watch that when I live in Scotland? I want to watch the Scotland games for free. So, yeah, I completely agree. These games should be on at STV and we should get to watch them for free rather than having to pay for the privilege to watch our national team play.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you would go along with that, Reagan.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a joke. I mean, surely in this day and age with Sky, BT, Amazon, Premier, surely they can come up with a solution where we get to watch it on STV or on somewhere because it's not good that if you're trying to attract new people into football that you can go, oh, you need to pay for £40 to Sky a month to watch the football.
I mean, we have our very own BBC Scotland channel, and yet you can't watch the Scotland games on it.
That's a good point, Graham. Yeah, but it's all right showing the highlights, but you would rather watch a live game. And like, I'm not being funny here, but like, the only time that you see Scotland games on Scottish TV, by way that's STV, is when Scotland is in the World Cup, whenever that is, and the European Championships. But apart from that, you don't see any. The last game that I think, am I right in saying that the last game Scotland was on STV was when they played England at was it a friendly at Wembley, and I'm sure it was like Poppy weekend, and all the Scotland fans were booing for the minute silence. Am I right, or maybe
That was the Euros, was it? No.
no, that was about Flair. I'm talking about about 4 seasons ago now. It was a Friday night, I think.
I'm thinking the last time we played on STV was the Croatia game. Because remember your pal Rory Hammond was the commentator for STV for that night, Michael.
I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to think back. Was it a friendly game, Regan, or
No, it was the Euros.
no? I'm not talking about a competitive game. I'm just talking
Oh.
about a game.
Probably the last one was remember the Kerry Miller one when he put one right in the top bin with Joe Hart.
I was at that game.
Were you?
Aye.
Talk to us about that, but Graham.
That was the friendly game at Wembley. Never been to Wembley before. Unbelievable. It was brilliant. I loved it.
Good atmosphere.
It was brilliant. It was a shame that Ricky Lambert scored the winning goal for them, but it was a
Ricky Lambert.
The atmosphere amongst the Scotland fans that night was incredible. We were like on the top tier at Wembley. It was unbelievable.
So join us next week for the Nets games in the Nations League. Starting off on Wednesday night, 10 o'clock. Be there. Regan, you've been a busy boy this week. Not only you've been on the show, but you've been away at the Davis Cup. And I'm surprised that you've made the show because I believe one of the games went on to 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, well, I was probably the wise old owl in the stadium when I decided to leave about the back 11 because I thought that this game has just started and we're going to go on for about at least another 2 hours. I went, no, forget this. I'm away because I wanted to get a lift home. I was never going to get a bus at 1 o'clock in the morning, so I went, no, I need to go home. So yeah, it was a great night. Got off to a bad start, but then Scotland's Cameron Norrie, he equalised the tie to make it 1-1, and then Andy Murray and his partner Joe Salisbury, they took the first set, and then they lost the next 2 sets. So yeah, it was a bitter end, but yeah, it was very good for Scotland to have a big event with the Davis Cup. But they're actually playing right now, Michael, and I can keep you right up to date because they are 1-0 up in the tie against Holland, and Scotland's Cam Norrie is currently playing. He's playing in the first set, and it is 5-4 to Holland at the minute.
Regan, I just wanted to take you back to that night that you had and the game went on to 1 in the morning, right? I'm reading an interview from Andy Murray, and he says that it doesn't look very professional it doesn't look very professional if professional sports goes on till 1 in the morning. Do you agree with that, Regan?
Yeah, I totally do. I don't know if you and Graham are big tennis fans when you watch Davis Cup, but Davis Cup used to be over 3 or 4 days. and
Mhm.
now they've crammed it into one day. I just don't get that. It's just really strange because why would you cram 3 games of tennis into one day? It just makes no sense.
You
I
you
mean,
know you know something, Reagan, that I've never been to the Emirates before.
Michael.
Yeah, I know.
Even if you've never been, Michael, I'll pop down there one day and I'll buy you a coffee, mate. And we'll
Sure, the fat.
chew the fat. No, but that's the home of the Glasgow Rocks. Did you see this week that the Glasgow Rocks are changing their name?
Yeah, you've kind of scolded Graham's fund a wee bit there.
Sorry, lad.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't even notice that was quite next on the agenda. Sorry, lads.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But so
Yeah.
I just wanted to take you back to the Emirates. So are you going back to any of the games, Reagan, or is that you?
I'm going back on Sunday for the last game. They're playing Kazakhstan. I can give you an update right now. I'm watching it, and it's 6-4 to Holland. So Holland are 1-0 up in the first set. For the first two sets. Yeah, I'm going back on Sunday, Michael, and I'm hoping to see Andy Murray again. Yep, because I think Andy is on his last legs. I don't think he's going to play much more in Great Britain and much more in Scotland. And it's just good to see a Scottish athlete doing so well. And I would actually say Andy Murray is the best Scottish athlete to ever live. I don't know what you guys think.
Graham?
Yeah, I'll probably go along with that. He's been a great servant to the game. I think he's been, as I said a couple of weeks ago, I think when you're on your own in a sport and you have to retire, it must be difficult to make that decision. But I think he probably is on his last legs. I hope he goes out on a high on Sunday. You know, I watched Dan Evans earlier on. He won 6-4, 6-4 in his game. And I thought he played really well, actually. So hopefully he can maybe take on Andy Murray's mantle. But yeah, I think Andy Murray is definitely up there as one of the best. And I think it is sad to see him probably on the last legs because he has been such a great player. But on the great place, and I just want to say, I'm gutted that Roger Federer has decided to retire at 41 because he has been incredible. I said on the group chat a while ago that I didn't think I would see anybody as good as Pete Sampras, and Federer's been brilliant. You know, he's won 20 Grand Slam titles. He's won a record 8 Wimbledons. He's won 5 US Opens. He's won 6 Australian Opens and 1 French Open. And he won his first Wimbledon title in 2003 when he beat Mark Philippoussis. He's just been an incredible athlete.
My God, Graham's been at the research this week, Michael. He's done well.
Yeah.
You can give him top of the class for that.
See, folk think this show's made up. It generally isn't. I actually do research. So, no, he's just been an incredible athlete. And I'm gutted that he's retired because I don't think we'll see the likes of Roger Federer again.
No, exactly. Pete Sampras was my favourite tennis player as well, Graham.
I love Sampras. It was brilliant. I loved watching him.
Reagan, I know that you were saying about the Davis Cup there, right? But I didn't know that. Is that a new rule that they brought in? Like you've got to finish it all in the one day. You can't, you can't play over 2 or 3 days. Is that a new rule?
Yeah, so they basically changed the format. So the format that they changed was to play in the one day, and they also said, right, we want you to play different nations. So what used to happen was you used to play over 3 days, and you used to play like one nation. So it'd be like, say, Great Britain versus Argentina, and then you would play Argentina over the 3 days. But now what's happening is Great Britain are now playing on the Friday against Holland. They played Wednesday against USA, and now they're playing Sunday against a different nation. So they've got 4 in the group, and the top 2 go through to the Davis Cup final, and then so there's 4 groups. So the 8 nations that qualify first and second will then play in the Davis Cup final, and February in Malaga. So I'm just hoping that Michael will get some some press passes for Malaga.
I was just going to ask you whereabouts it was. I thought it was in Seoul Courts, but yeah, Malaga. Yeah, I'll try my best, guys, to get a few passes for that. Strawberries and cream. That's what I was going to say, but I don't know if they'll do that in manager. But I'll ask Mr. Henman. When I speak to him as well. What about the atmosphere, Reagan? Was the atmosphere good this week?
Yeah, for the games being so late, it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I was so surprised that the majority of the 8,000 crowd all stayed until about the back of 11. I was just surprised because I was thinking loads of people are working and
It's a night out for people in Glasgow. You know what Glasgow folk are like.
I think folk were just genuinely excited to see Andy Murray because, as I said, Andy, Jamie, and Judy, she's been done great with the boys. I mean, they're probably Andy Murray's probably the fourth best tennis player. He's in that group of Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic. Where it was amazing. Graham, people forget that Andy Murray won a back-to-back Olympic medals, gold, when he played with Djokovic, Nadal, Del Potro, all in the Olympics. Andy Murray comes back and wins back-to-back. That's just amazing.
Yeah, as I said, he's been a great servant to the game, and he's been fantastic ambassador for Scotland as well. And I think people that didn't like tennis before, I bet they will watch Wimbledon when Andy Murray first won it because it was such a special occasion. And he has been brilliant, and he is competing against some of the best there's ever been. So, you know, when he eventually does bow out, it's going to be a sad occasion, but it'll be great if they can win on Sunday, and you know, if they go on a high, because that's what you want.
Now, Reagan, we just don't cover football and tennis here. We cover other sports as well, like women's sports as well. But I saw yesterday, and you'll be impressed, Reagan, here, right? Because Graham has basically done his homework. And so that the Scotland squad has just been announced for the Women's World Cup.
Yep.
Yeah. And that begins in October, I think, Graham.
It does. It starts on the 8th of October. Scotland's first game is the 9th of October against Wales, and they're in Group A with Australia, Wales, and the holders and host New Zealand.
Do we not need to qualify against Republic Island? Did you hear that? Did we not talk about that last week?
I don't think so, no.
I think that was something else. Was that not the football one?
Is that what we're talking about the football?
No, this is rugby we're talking about.
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry.
Wakey. Yeah.
Rugby, yeah. I mean, it's just good to see the ladies playing rugby. Are they any good, Graham? Are they any good at rugby?
They're ranked 10th in the world, so they're not a bad side. And they've named a squad of 32. And would you believe, I've done my research because I even wrote the list down. That's how good I am at this job.
Go on, show us, Graham. Put us all to shame now.
So the forwards, they're 16. So they've got Leah Bartlett.
Show the bit of paper.
All right, hang on, look. This is the research that I do, look.
See?
This show just isn't made up, you know.
I see it, aye.
That's how the committee gets.
He's done well, Graham.
That's obviously how bored I am in the house because I'm on holiday. So the Scotland squad, I'll go through them as the forwards are Leah Bartlett, Christy Belizel, Sarah Bonner, Elian Clark, Kate Dugan, Ellie Gallagher, Jade Conkle-Roberts, the captain Rachel Malcolm, Rachel McLaughlin, Louise McMillan, Lindsay O'Donnell, Lana Skeldon, Jodie Retty, Emma Wassell, Molly Wright and Anne Young. And the backs are Shona Campbell, Megan Gaffney, Corinne Grant, Sarah Law, can't even read your own writing, Rona Lloyd, Katie Mattinson, Mary McDonald, Liz Musgrove, the vice-captain Helen Nelson, Emma Orr, Chloe Rowley, Ailey Sinclair, Hannah Smith, Meryl Smith, Lisa Thompson, and Evie Wills. So that's your squad.
There you go. Graham's on the ball.
Give that man a round of applause. There you go.
We're on the ball. We're on the ball. We're on the ball. That's an
Wrong
Ant and Dec.
sports.
That's Ant and Dec. You'll never know that.
Ah, right, okay. Well then. Yeah, so I'm hoping that we'll get to speak to one of the not so much the current squad, but a female that's been involved in the rugby. Just to put a perspective on it from the women's sports point of view. So hopefully that'll be in a few weeks' time on the show. But yeah, it's good. Graham, I'm just looking here as well, but I'm not sure if is the World Cup going to be televised, you know, or I mean it doesn't say here, but like I presume it will be somewhere.
I know Graham's done his research, but he's not done that much research.
How good do you think I am? Seriously.
I know exactly, sorry. But no, seriously, I'll let you off with that one, Graham. It's been a busy week.
Absolutely shocking that he's done that.
I know, exactly.
No.
I'm taking that man over Matt's ball off of you now, and I'm giving it to Dave Smith.
It's on from the 8th of October to the 12th of November. But whether it's televised, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it'll be on like one of the Sky channels because I think these usually are televised on the Sky channels. So
yeah, we'll try and keep up to date with what's happening for Scotland. So just to remind you that Scotland's in Pool A against Scotland, Wales, and the defending champions New Zealand. So just New Zealand then. And it will begin on the 8th of October. It's been carried over from 2001 because of Mr. 2001.
That's a long carry. That's a long carry.
Yeah, Giga 6 is that okay. Yeah. So there you go. We'll just skim over that comment that may get there. Don't forget you can still comment on anything that we are talking about on Indie Live. We're here until 7 o'clock tonight, and of course we'll be back on Sunday with that review show as well, just to keep you up to date with the Davis Cup, because I'm watching it now as well. It's 2-0 to Holland Netherlands in the second set, so 2-0, and it is going against Serve. Actually, it's 30-15 in the third game there. So hopefully GB will come back there as well. As Andy Murray got any more games coming up, Reagan, or is that him?
Yeah, so Andy Murray, see if Cam Norrie loses this game, Andy Murray will be forced to play a doubles match with his partner Joe Salisbury tonight in the Emirates Arena.
I could tell you that Cam Norrie's just served an ace on that one, and it's 30. It's getting addictive when you actually start. Carry on, guys. Carry on with the show. I'm just watching the tennis. Yeah. So Graham's also been busy this week, Reagan, because as you know, we're talking about the Emirates, right? And the basketball team, Chains gets named this week. Graham.
They did. They are now. I've got an email here. Do you want me to read the whole thing out or just a part of it?
No, just a part of it there, because you'll be there till Monday.
Because it's very long.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We are delighted to announce that the club will now be known as the Caledonia Gladiators. On the change, Caledonia Gladiators owner Steve Timoney said, following recent investments in the British Basketball League, there are clear signs that we are entering a new era of tremendous growth of the sport in the UK. Several projects are already underway, including a new UK marketing campaign and a digital transformation project that will position British basketball as the most technologically advanced sport in the world. I'm just going to try and get some bits here. We are now in the position to draw on the extensive Rocks history and the exciting new brand to pool the resource of both clubs and create a structure that is dedicated to supporting what happens on the court. This platform, together with the strong branding that not only reaches out to the whole Scottish community, but instills in all our opposition, the men or women, we are elite warriors. We have no doubt that we will be able to compete for the best talent available and that success will follow. I'm just trying to find other bits here that I can read out. We will invest in a leading-edge multi-use arena as the new home for our club, a home that our club will own, a home where the priority will always be club games before anything else, and where we will build a game day that will thrill our fans and partners and aspire to rival any NBA experience. A home that will provide a pathway to success at the highest level of basketball. That home is where you will see the greatest gladiators perform. From today, Caledonia Rocks will be renamed Caledonia Gladiators and will join our WBBL elite athletes. We are keen that Glasgow Rock's rich history influences our future, and Glasgow remain a key centre for our pathway development and our partner and fan engagement.
That was a little bit of a dig at the Emirates Arena there, saying that this will be a place only for basketball. So I don't know where the new home will be then.
Yeah, no. So then the Glasgow, the Caledonian Gladiators, say that we are Tiffin. They're playing at Manchester tomorrow at 5:00, and they're playing on Sunday at 3:00. Oh, by the time that we're on there, so we'll have a busy show talking about football and talking about basketball. A lot of balls on Sunday. And they are playing the Cheska Phoenix on Sunday. I'm not looking forward to seeing that Cheska Phoenix against Caledonian Gladiators. I might go to bed now and just practice for Sunday. But yeah, so I wonder why they changed their name. Maybe it's because what Regan was saying about they're hoping to have a new home as well.
They're hoping to move to nearby East Kilbride. That's the plan anyway.
There you go. Graham's got some inside information. He's well known.
Yeah, no, I know he's on the ball tonight, so yes. You can have my job if you want. So that's ice hockey.
Is that a better pay grade there, Michael, to be the host?
Yeah, I think you get about 50 pence more than they just at the moment. So yeah. So no, it's brilliant that we're doing the show, Graham, just to cover other sports as well. Because if you listen to the other stations, all they do is talk about football. And I know that we spent the past hour talking about Celtic, Rangers, Dundee United, and the other teams as well. But we always speak about other sports as well, like ice hockey and basketball as well, and women's sports.
Yeah, I mean, you do listen to a lot of different kind of sport channels that don't really talk about this kind of stuff, and I would like to see anyone else try and mention all the names that I've just done for the Women's World Cup and stuff, so give it a try. But no, it's great. We always do that, and we always strive to try and bring you the best sports news that we can. We're always up to date, and as I said before, when we do the show live, things drop, which is great. We can talk about it. We couldn't do that when we were pre-recorded.
Just give us, I was going to say, just give us the names again, and just in case people tuning in. But
you saw it up, didn't you? You did that on purpose.
I didn't actually, but I didn't know you were going to do that until I saw that. Then I thought, well, I may as well just follow through.
If you want to hear it again, just listen back to the show and you'll get the names again.
That's a good point, yeah. So you can watch it again or listen to it again anytime you want. I don't know why you would, but you can do that after the show. And also we're on Sunday as well. Have you been to see the basketball before the Emirates, Regan?
No, that's one ball I've never seen. I've seen tennis, football, but I've never seen basketball. No. I'll need to pop along to East Kilbride for the hospitality with Graham one day.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'll not be wanting coffee. I'll put it that way. I want something a bit stronger than that.
I've never been to a basketball game, by the way, so you know,
That's probably because you're too small.
yeah, but yeah,
Do you ever
3
remember
points
that?
for that, Grim.
Do you ever remember that newspaper article that Strachan did when he said Scotland is a nation of far too wee?
No.
Always think back to, like, do you ever watch Police Academy and they had the guy Hightower in it? He'd have been a great basketball player.
Yeah, the guy that you didn't see.
He was huge.
You know, but yeah. So I mean, again, we're talking about other sports that you don't hear on other channels because we're the #1 sports show. Ice hockey now, Grim. But taking the American route again from basketball to ice hockey. Ice hockey. Glasgow Cran. They're playing at Braehead tomorrow against. Let me get that right. The 17th. That's tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. They're playing against Dundee Stars. Now they played against Dundee Stars last weekend, but it was up in Dundee. But tomorrow it's at Braehead, so we'll keep you up to date. With the scores on Twitter as well. If you want to keep up to date with anything that we're talking about in the show, just go into the Locker Room Indie on Twitter and you'll find it on there, Graham. So there you go. Ice from basketball to ice hockey. Some show.
We're always busy on the show, aren't we? Never a dull moment.
No, exactly. That's why Dave Smith is away. Maybe he's away for lie down. You know, so so we've got about 20 minutes left on the show tonight, and don't forget you can come back on Sunday for some more action on the weekend. I just want to your guys take on the Scotland squad getting announced this week back to football. I know that I was talking to Reagan early on about Greg Taylor getting into the Scotland squad. I think this is his second cap in the Scotland squad. And Graham was talking about his favourite player, Ryan Poitras, being in the squad. So any other surprising names in that squad, guys? Sorry.
I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, the only one for me would possibly be Porteous. The only one that I would probably throw in there would have been Barry Mackay, Graham.
Yeah, I think the only reason he's not in it is because against the bigger teams like Celtic and Rangers, he doesn't really perform. But I'd love to see him in it. For anyone that's watching that doesn't know, I'll just give you the squad. So we've got 3 goalkeepers. We've got Craig Gordon, Liam Kelly, and John McLaughlin. The defenders are Grant Hanley, Jack Henry, Aaron Hickey, Scott McKenna, Nathan Patterson, Ryan Porteous, Anthony Ralston, Greg Taylor, Kieran Tierney. Midfielders, we've got Stuart Armstrong, Billy Gilmore, Ryan Jack, John McGinn, Callum McGregor, Kenny McLean, Scott McTominay, and David Turnbull. And the forward players are Che Adams, Jacob Brown, Ryan Christie, Lyndon Dykes, and Ryan Fraser.
There you go, Reagan. He wants.
I suppose
he does want that pay rise.
Yeah, I think he does, and he probably does deserve the pay rise. Does Graham? He puts a hell of a shift in for this locker room show, Michael.
Well, thanks, Reagan.
No, I just wanted to give a me personal vendetta for Graham there because, no, honestly, the work he does on the Twitter, on the I'm sure you agree, Michael. I mean, he does great stuff.
That was me. It was updating it last week, Reagan. But yeah. You can tell what side of the fence Reagan's on, can't you guys?
He's a good man, that Reagan. I've always liked him. Always my favourite.
I'm just saying that a good man deserves credit when he deserved.
Thanks,
but no, Michael, I think the score.
That feels like 11 here, but do you want me to go away?
I beat it. We'll get a coffee later.
I feel like the Scotland squad, the only big surprise for me, Michael, would be Fraser, because he's not been in the squad for the last few months. But now he's back in. I think he's probably, see if you're having Steve Clark, they're probably made up. It's probably one of those ones where, you follow up with your partner and then you make up, you know what I mean? Probably one of the ones where they've kind of fell back in. So, yep, I think it's a very good move, because I think he's probably going to be an important player against Ukraine, especially because we're probably going to play 10 men behind the ball, and he can try and exploit that space.
I think, again, the only thing I would say again is there's a real lack of strikers on that bit. I mean, you're looking at really Che Adams and Lyndon Dykes again. There's not a lot else there really going forward, to be honest. And that's my concern.
I think we spoke about this the last time that we were doing a show in the Scotland games. I mean, they're okay up until they get up to like the final third and nobody's there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one, because I've got to ask you, Michael, who do you think they'll play up front? Do you think you'll go with two up front, or do you think you'll learn this lesson and play maybe Dykes and bring Adams on?
No, I would like to see the two of them. And I mentioned this in the show before, and I can't remember what Graham says that, so I'm going to mention it again.
That is shocking.
Yeah, I know exactly. Well, you and Reagan's got to be singing now, so I don't want to interfere.
Yeah.
You know. No, I would play the two of them, and I would play Lyndon Shea Adams just behind Lyndon Dykes, because Shea Adams can run all day for you, whereas I don't think Dykes has got the pace. And so I would go with the two of them up front. Graham, are you going to agree with me or disagree with me and go with your pal Reagan?
It's a tough one.
It's okay.
It's a very tough one. I mean, you're both all right, but Reagan's giving me credit, so I might have to go with Reagan. I think I'll probably go with Dykes up front, but if you look at that squad at the moment,
there you go, my good pals, Kim.
I think probably guaranteed starters just now are in that team are Craig Gordon, probably Kieran Tierney, Billy Gilmore, Callum McGregor, John McGinn. I'm trying to think who else could be a guaranteed starter. I mean, Nathan Patterson potentially.
Yep, I'll probably say Grant Hanley, because he's Steve Clark's favourite now. But
yeah, the rest of them, I mean, you could really pick and choose who you're going to play in that game, but I think that Ukraine game is going to be a huge game, and that obviously the Ireland game is going to be massive as well. But that Ukraine game, the two games at home coming up against Ukraine and Ireland, we've got to look at to win both of those games. You know, we'll have the crowd behind us, and we need to get results in those games. And I just think, I mean, again, I'm not just saying this because it's at Hearts now, but could there have been a chance for Stephen Kingsley to be in that squad potentially?
Yeah, I suppose there probably is. He proved himself in Europe last night, Graham. But the big thing for me as well is I was looking at this group today, Michael, and Scotland's only 1 point behind Ukraine. So I think it's important that we go out there and we play Ukraine and we do well.
Just got an update, guys, before we come back to the old football. Holland, I keep calling them Holland. They're called them Netherlands now. They're 4-2 up in the second set and 15-all in that game as well. Graham, I wanted to touch upon the Scotland game. Obviously, the Ukraine game is a big game, but the game after, it's a kind of derby, you would say, in the way against Ireland. And I'm just looking back at the last game, Scotland played Ireland in Ireland. Ireland won 3-0, and Scotland were lucky to get out that game 3-0. So would you say Scotland needs to put in a real performance now to win that game?
Yeah, we were on the show. We did a show after that game, and we were very critical.
I remember that.
and rightly so, because that was not good enough. So Scotland have got to be a lot better in that game. And I just think, the Ireland game is going to be massive. I think Ireland, I don't think they're a better team than Scotland, but I think you know what you're going to get with them. So it's going to be difficult, but it is a game that we should be looking to win. But that Ukraine game for me, we have to win that game at home. It's going to be a tough game. We all know what's happened in the Ukraine and stuff. It's going to be a tough game. But that, for me, we have to get 3 points. So it is going to be difficult. I'm not going to lie. It will be difficult because they're a good side. But we have to be winning these games at home.
Regan, how many points would you suggest that Scotland's looking to take out the next 3 games?
I think they need 9 to qualify. They need 9.
Yeah.
Because I think if you look at Ukraine are a very good side. We obviously play them twice. So you're looking to beat Ukraine twice, and you're looking to. You would take 7, but you would ideally want 9.
Then would you go along with that?
100%.
Well, obviously, I was surprised you said that there. Yeah,
I'd have said that. I would have said that if it was you as well. To be fair, or would I? No. I think 9 points it has to be. I do think that there are still some Scotland fans that are not fully behind Steve Clarke. I think there's a lot of folk that still don't really rate him as a manager. I don't personally agree. I think he's done well. There are probably things that he could improve on, and maybe at times he is a bit too negative at times. But I think he's done well, and I think these games are going to be huge. But I do, a bit like Robin Nielsen, I think if we lose against Ukraine on Wednesday, I think a lot of Scotland fans will be like, right, get Steve Clarke out, he's not good enough. That's just the way that fans are, unfortunately.
I was going to say that, Regan, while when Graham was talking there, it's kind of same comparisons to Robin Nielsen, you would say.
I think because I don't know what you think, Michael, and I don't know what Graham thinks, but see, because international football is only once every few months, it takes a whole different perspective. Because if you look at it, right, see if Celtic win or Celtic lose, right, Celtic have got another 12 months to try and build it back up again. Steve Clarke's got to wait another 6 months for one game. So it's kind of like, it's hard for him. Because Scotland could go and play well on Wednesday night, and they could put a really good performance in. It could be 2-1 to Scotland, and then the last kick of the ball, Ukraine could score. So it's just one of those things where you need to go, right, well, they need to obviously win the game, but obviously we need to be realistic as well, Graham, don't we?
Yeah, we do, but I sometimes do find these international breaks a bit frustrating, and especially if you're on the back as a fan of a normal club like Hearts and stuff. If you win the game 1 week and then you've got to wait another 2 weeks before you play again, it can be frustrating. But I'm fully behind the national team now. I know, as I said, a lot of Scotland fans aren't behind the Scotland national team, but I think these games are going to be massive for Scotland and for Steve Clarke. He needs to win them, and he needs to have good performances as well. I think for me, there are some players in that Scotland team who haven't quite performed well enough for Scotland yet. So I hope that changes.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult because you look at Scotland. Obviously, people talk about that we qualified for the Euros, but that's gone now. We need to concentrate on qualifying for this European Championships. I don't know where it's been held, but hopefully Michael can secure some press passes to that as well. I'm putting pressure on Michael tonight.
It's in Saltcoats as well. Everything's happening in Saltcoats.
Saltcoats will be booming. The town of Saltcoats will be booming.
It's just a shame. It's just a shame we couldn't qualify for World Cup of Qatar. Could you imagine that? The locker room from Qatar. That would have been fun.
Oh, we did take a bus.
Yeah. You would have to get raffle tickets to get on the bus. It would be, but I'll tell you one, man. It's not happening at the moment, and it's Great Britain because they're down 5-2 in the second set, and it's only a matter of time where they go 2-0 down, and and Netherlands has just went up 30 15, so it's not looking good for Cam Norrie and Reagan.
No, it's no, Michael. And the sad fact is that if Andy Murray and his doubles partner Joe Salisbury do not win that next game, then Great Britain will be out of the Davis Cup.
And you won't be, are you still going on Sunday, or?
No, I'll not be going on Sunday. It'll be like I could give my ticket away to the pigeons or somebody at the back.
Well, that's a good advert for the Davis Cup, Reagan. That's a good way to end the show. No, we're not finished actually, but that would have been a good way to end the show. But no, yeah. So I know what you're saying now, Reagan, about Stevie Clark, like, but because he only gets to work with the players, for 2 weeks, and they go away.
Yeah, sorry, Michael. It's set point to Hall. It's match point to Holland. Yeah, 2 match points.
Yeah.
See, that's because you're not there, Reagan.
Yeah, no, I know exactly.
Blame me, I know. Blame me. That's because I'm dedicated to the locker room. I wouldn't want to let you guys down.
I thought, to be honest, I thought Graham would get stuck up for you, mate, because you stuck up for Graham, but you can't get these people. And the game's over.
There we go, lads. Game, set, match, Holland.
Roll on the Scottish Independence guys. So they'll be coming up at 7 o'clock after us.
What's happened to Steve B? Is Steve B not on the Friday night anymore, Michael?
Steve B's on the radio, and the Scottish Independence guys will be on Independence Live at 7.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I thought somebody took Steve B away then. I was starting to get worried.
Yeah, no. He came out the cupboard just to give the show. But yeah, I mean, Reagan, that's a good point that you've made about Stevie Clark, because he just gets to work with the players for 2 or 3 weeks, and then not even 3 weeks. And then he all the players are away again, so it must be a worry. But in saying that, that's the same for Andre Postecoglou, Van Bronckhorst, Nielsen. If they're in a good run of games, and they have to, and then they have to go away to international football.
Yeah, it's a big worry, because you look at someone like Stephen Kingsley, as Graham said, this guy's playing well and probably deserves it. And then you look at someone like McGregor, who's played a lot of football, but he'll probably play every game for Scotland, Michael, and it's a shame, because these players need to be rested as well.
Yeah, no, Graham, what do you feel?
I just think that, like, under Steve Clark, for a long time you had players that didn't turn up for Scotland duty. You don't really get that under Steve Clark now, so I think he has got that kind of club mentality. But I do think that a lot of these players are playing a lot of games, and Callum McGregor will play on all these games because it's such a massive part of the team, and he's a big influence in that Scotland team. I think Andy Robertson, unfortunately, is out, which is a massive blow as well. But having the players only for a few weeks and then obviously another break again, I think being a national manager must be difficult. But Steve Clark knew he was going to get into it when he got the job in the first place, so that's just the way it happens. So he's got to get used to that. But these games are going to be so vital for us. And I just keep going back to this. These home games, we have to be winning them. And I think if we can get 3 points against Ukraine and then 3 points against Ireland, we've got a very good chance of definitely getting the points we need to qualify for this group.
Yeah, no, definitely. So are you going to any of the game, Reagan, coming up, or?
I'm going to all the games, Michael, apart from the away game in Ukraine. I was about to say I was going to go to all the games there, but no, I'll not be in Ukraine, because, as we know, the war's going on there, and it's not a good idea to go to Ukraine. But no, I'll be at the Hampden games. Yep, I'll be there.
Sorry, I must admit, I'm sorry I read the comment wrong from Flea and 20th. He says, you read my comment wrong. He meant on Scottish the Scottish independence referendum. You three are the guys.
I could have told you that. I hadn't read that wrong. I could have told you what he meant.
Yeah, no, exactly. But there you go. Because I'm watching two computers at one time, so I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but hopefully this time next year, well, in the build up to Scottish independence, and that would be pretty cool. Just to have a locker room in the an independent Scotland. So yeah, that would be cool.
Michael,
So
it's been
I
great.
think.
Michael, it's been great to join you guys tonight. I'm sadly going to go off, mate.
Yep, I think it's time for Reagan's dinner. So I will let Reagan go, and we'll speak to you soon, Reagan.
Speak to you soon, mate. Speak
So
to you
that
soon.
again.
There you go. From 4 until 2. There you go. Where it all began and all that kind of stuff. 5 minutes left on the show. Graham, 3 games coming up then. Scotland against Ukraine. First up on Wednesday, and then on Saturday night. There you go, Graham. You've always wanted to spend a Saturday night with me. And, your dream has come true. Scotland against Ireland, and I think it's next Tuesday, a weekend Tuesday, and they play Ukraine away.
Yep, it is indeed.
And don't forget, we've got all the shows coming up after each game on Indie Live, Rig on Independence Live from 10 o'clock. I'm looking forward to talking about Scotland again, because we haven't spoke about them since, well, the last game we get beat.
Yeah, I'll hope for a bit more positivity this time, because it has been a bit disappointing recently. So hopefully we'll be a bit more positive next week. I just think, for a long time, I don't know about you, but for a long time I kind of got the thing of, it's Scotland, but I really can't be bothered with this. But I don't kind of get that now. I kind of look forward to the games. So hopefully Scotland can keep that kind of momentum going. But, these are going to be hard games. Ukraine are no mugs. We know that. They're going to be a difficult game. And that Ireland game, as you said earlier, that, they hammered us last time. So we need to put that right this time. But just the fact that these 2 next games are at Hampden, we'll have a full crowd behind us. It should be a decent atmosphere. So hopefully Scotland get 3 points. But I just keep going back to this. My main worry is always that lack of options up front. We just don't have enough quality coming through. And that, for me, is a worry.
Yeah, no, I think you remember that we've spoke about this before. We even spoke about the Euros as well, because to be honest, we did well in the Euros. Well, obviously against England, just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And I remember speaking to, I think it was you and David Ferguson that was on the show that night, and we done everything but put the ball in the back of the net.
We did, and it is a frustration. Scotland do a lot of good stuff, like middle, like back to middle, but then don't do that final bit going forward, and that's a frustration. Lyndon Dykes, I do like him, but he doesn't score a lot of goals. I think Che Adams again is a good player, but again he doesn't score a lot of goals. So you just think, where are the goals coming from? I think Callum McGregor might be our top goal scorer. He's a midfielder, so we are lacking that presence up front. And I think I mentioned this to David Ferguson last time he was on, that we just don't have an array of Scottish talent coming through up front, and we haven't had for a long time. And that, for me, is the biggest problem that not just Steve Clarke, but every Scotland manager's had. We just don't have that. And, you could go back to Lee Griffiths and think, well, if we only had Lee Griffiths, but, it's just one of these things that he's never going to get himself fit and ready. So we've got what we've got, but it's a frustration for me that we just don't have that level of quality coming through in Scotland.
It's funny how 2 years or 3 years is a long time in football, because if you look at the team, Lee Griffiths would never get in that Celtic team, or maybe the Scotland team at the moment, because they haven't got a striker, but definitely not the Celtic team.
No, he wouldn't. Celtic have got real quality now, and you just keep going back to those 2 Lee Griffiths goals against England, which is probably the most excited I've been at a Scotland goals before. And it's just never happened again. But yeah, he wouldn't get in that Celtic team now, because Celtic are absolutely flying. and Lee Griffiths clearly isn't.
Talking about flying, we need to fly because we're out of here. Just to update you, the Davis Cup tie between Netherlands and Great Britain. Andy Murray is back in doubles action tomorrow. So good luck for that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll be back on Sunday at 3 o'clock.